Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 209. And ladies and gents, we are excited as the Hawks and the Hogs are Sweet 16 bound. It was an awesome weekend across the board. And we're excited to dive right into it. I am Sam Godsey, your host, joined today by Tanner Dism. Tanner, how are you feeling tonight?
It's only one word that can describe how I'm feeling. I'm feeling sweet, baby. I'm feeling sweet. Like you said, first time since 1999, something Fran McCaffrey was never able to do as the head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Yeah, dance on that great. Uh, in year one under Ben McCollum, I was heading to the Sweet 16, and the might be the single biggest win for any of my teams ever. I just can't describe the feeling of watching that game and all of that, which obviously we'll get into later. But I'm feeling so good; it doesn't feel real. Um, we're in the freaking Sweet 16,
Yeah.
and as I'm sure all of you know, a very familiar foe waiting for us in the Sweet 16, one that Iowa has beaten already this year and taken to overtime on the road. So looks like those two teams are evenly matched. But I mean, I'm so excited to get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just dive right into it. We'll start on Saturday. I'm not gonna lie to you, Tanner. There was a lot of stinkers on Saturday.
Yeah, the beginning part of Saturday
Well,
was
first, I think we need to talk about the big elephant in the room. What is a schedule?
yes. You're absolutely right about that. Um, like the scheduling in the on the Thursday and Friday in the round of 64 is an absolute masterclass in how to schedule.
Oh, yeah.
With the tip times staggered the way they are, the way you can all there's a rhyme to it, a rhyme and a reason. How you have 16 total games. You essentially have two morning sessions.
Yeah.
One that starts at 12 Eastern, 11 Central. Then the other one starts at 3 or maybe 2 Central, and then you have kind of the break, and then the next one starts at 5:50 Central, and then you go into the late night. It's an absolute masterclass in scheduling. And then you get to the round of 32, and you have two standalone games. Then you have about 3 games tip off within an hour of each other after that. Then you have games on a weekend on a Sunday night tipping off at damn near 10 o'clock Eastern. I don't get it at all. I don't get the round of 32 scheduling, especially because the round of 64 is just so damn good.
Yeah.
College sports is not known for their scheduling. They have an obsession with playing championship games on Mondays.
Yeah.
But the first round is so perfect. Where did we lose that?
Yeah, absolutely. But let's dive into the games itself. I'm gonna just kind of run through them. Feel free if you have anything to add in. But we tipped off with Michigan, St. Louis. This one, a lot of people thought we're gonna be more competitive than it was. Michigan took care of business, 95-72.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I guess
Go
this
ahead.
one to me, the scary thing about this to me, I thought St. Louis played about as well as I could have hoped.
Yeah.
Coming out of the gate, and it was close for a while, but it's just Michigan was just too much, and it'd be one thing if they came out and played poorly, and it's oh yeah, lost by 23. Michigan was just too much.
Yeah,
they played well, man, and it just at the end of the day, you're like, holy crap, they still got obliterated.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, one that looked a little closer on the scoreboard, but really wasn't. Michigan State takes care of Louisville 77-69.
Yeah, I mean, I this one's a weird one because it never felt like Louisville was out, but it also never felt like Louisville was going to win.
Yeah, it was very good. Good way
it was literally an arm's length the entire way, and it just never felt like Louisville was going to win. And yeah, I mean, Michigan State, Tom Izzo now in his 17th Sweet 16.
Insane. Then we have Duke took care of TCU 81-58. I'm not gonna lie, I thought TCU was gonna put up a little bit more of a fight, but Duke kind of took control and never looked back.
Yeah, I mean, upset-minded underdog plays the first half tough, and
Yeah.
Say it with me now. Runs out
Runs
of
out
gas.
gas.
There is some controversy in this with officiating. I mean, breaking news: Duke gets a favorable whistle. I mean,
Who
water's
would
wet.
thought?
Like, it's something you have to deal with,
Yeah,
and I don't think TCU handled it very well at all. And that's when Duke started to go on its run. I still love Jamie Dixon. I think he's a fantastic coach.
yeah,
But again, same thing with St. Louis and Michigan. Just too much. Just too much to deal with.
for sure. And another game that I thought was going to be another competitive one. Houston, Texas A&M. Wow.
This one was not like the others because Texas never had a chance in this.
Yeah.
Texas A&M never did not stick with them at all. It was a 18-point game at half. And they never had a chance. Houston looked
Yeah.
very.
I think the scariest part about this game is Houston wasn't even hit three.
Yeah.
Shot 8 for 31. But this game was never close.
And shot 8 for 31 from deep. Still scored 88 and shot nearly 45%
Yeah.
from the field.
Insane. But finally we got our first good game as Texas takes down Gonzaga. Let me know if you've heard that storyline before because Texas wins 74-68.
I mean, it was impressive from Texas. Sean Miller in his first year at Texas,
Yeah,
bringing them to the Sweet 16. Heidi, the used to be at Purdue, now at Texas.
yeah.
Hits the big shot, didn't score all game, hits the dagger three in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Really clutch shot there. I mean, this to me is all about Gonzaga because Gonzaga obviously will always be a controversial topic. They
Yeah.
they are in recent memory, they are about as successful of a college program as you'll find. Countless wins, obviously countless conference wins because they play nobody, and countless high seeds and countless expectations.
Yeah.
And it's just never clicked, and especially in these past couple of years because we're coming off of what? So I think they had lost to UNC in a title game. I think that was in between the two Villanova.
Yeah.
So that was 2017 ish.
Yeah.
They lost to UNC in a title game there.
They lost to Arkansas a couple years ago when Chet was on the team.
Yep. Then you had I think that was after the Suggs year, right?
Yeah,
Then
I believe
you had
so.
the
Yeah.
Suggs team, Suggs, Kispert, Timmy. That was like the best team ever assembled, and they were the best team. And then they choke in the title game against Baylor. Then they get the big time recruit in Chet Holmgren, and then they lose to Arkansas. And now these past couple of years, they haven't even gotten the big name recruits. And they've still been successful because they're Gonzaga and they're playing in the
WCC. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like this Gonzaga team. Like, I don't know if this is a exposing myself as someone who doesn't watch West Coast Conference basketball.
Unreal.
But if you went up to me and said, "Name me as many players on this Gonzaga team as you can," I would have given you Graham Ike. I would have given you Ty and Grant Foster. And that's right around. And
yeah.
just, they don't have the names. They don't have the star power. And, obviously they took care of business in the first round, but they run into Texas, a hot team from the first four, don't have enough. And back-to-back disappointing years for Gonzaga. I think they were a 5 seed last year.
Yeah.
I just don't expect to see that from Gonzaga. I respect Mark Few. I respect Gonzaga as a program, but these past couple of years have been disappointing for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be interesting because I believe they're becoming part of that Pac-12, which is basically the Mountain West plus Gonzaga. So thinking there'll be a little more competition in that newly formed conference, but
yeah, I mean they'll get San Diego State and they'll get a Utah State.
Yeah.
those are kind of the probably the best basketball programs
Yeah.
in the that conference right now. But like, yeah, it's I don't know. It's really it's going to be interesting to see how Mark Few and company kind of pivot because yeah, it's just not been the Gonzaga standards.
Yeah, absolutely. But moving on, we got Illinois taking care of VCU 76-55 a game. A lot of people liked VCU kind of being that Cinderella story. Unfortunately, Illinois closed that door rather quickly.
Yes, they did. Sam, I think this is the team. This is the team that I think can win a national title that has looked great that no one is talking about, and that's Illinois.
Yeah.
Obviously, when I say no one, but like the coverage that the one seeds, that the coverage that Houston and the talk about, man, they look good, they look good. Illinois looks damn good.
Yeah.
And there was a point in this season where I had that thought as well, being like, holy crap, Illinois looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you've got Wagler, you've got all the Eastern Europeans, seemingly that play college basketball, play for Illinois.
Yeah.
They have size, they have a star freshman, they have shooters, like they are really dangerous, and they tripped up a little bit at the end of the season, so it is worth talking about. Worth talking about. That's why they fell to that 3 seed, but like they ended up with a loss to UCLA, and they kind of got handled by Michigan, who's obviously a top tier team.
Yeah.
So like, but like Illinois looks damn.
Yeah. They look like one of the hottest teams right now, and they proved it once again over VCU. But then we finally arrived at arguably the best game of the tournament up to this point. Of course, Vandy, Nebraska. Nebraska inches out a victory, and I mean inches, because they win 74-72. And I still, a couple days later, can't believe that Tanner half court heave at the end did not go in.
Me neither. This game was incredible. Um, Tyler Tanner might be obviously he's got a great name, but he might be my favorite player to watch that isn't one of the high lottery pick
Mhm.
super mega stars that we talk about in this incredible freshman class. But like he's incredible, man. He had 27 in this game, and in their first round game, he had 25 plus in that game, I think, as
Yeah,
well.
he was hooping this
He
tournament.
was like Nebraska had a very balanced game. I think that the biggest bright spot was probably Brendan Frager, who had the game winning layup
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the game. 15 off the bench for Nebraska was huge. Vanderbilt was not a balanced attack.
No.
The entire second half was Tyler Tanner putting this team on his back.
Yeah.
Multiple steals, fast breaks. He did it in the half court. He made shots. He was unbelievable in this game. And it's one of those where, like, obviously the Nebraska Iowa factor and who we want, who we don't, but like, I'm heartbroken for Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
If that shot went in, it would have been incredible. I would have been heartbroken for Nebraska. Both teams played well enough to win. It was just, I wish the two teams played anyone else, because Vanderbilt's, I think, a team and a program that I thought deserved to be in the Sweet 16, especially given the talent on this team, and the fans deserved it, given they don't have the most rich basketball history. And then same with Nebraska. Obviously, we all know they hadn't won a game before this tournament. Both teams deserved to be in. This game was awesome. It rimmed out.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. If you're Vandy, it is looking good for you. Obviously, this is a tough pill to swallow, because you were that close to moving on to Sweet 16. But I mean, Miles played terrible. Nickel wasn't very good. It literally was Tyler Tanner versus the balance of attack of Nebraska, like you said. But it sucks seeing what could have been an all timer. not fall. I mean, it first thing I thought of when it rimmed out was, of course, Gordon Hayward's
Yep.
half court heave.
Yep.
But that game was awesome, and we got back to back bangers as a special guest helps us break down High Point versus Arkansas. And for this next game, of course, we had to bring him back. Of course, we are talking High Point, Arkansas. High Point made it a battle, but Erich Godsey is here to break down his Hogs victory 94-88. Eric, this was up and down all game. I mean, Thornton, their point guard was cooking, but in the end, Darius Acuff proved again what a lot of Hogs fan I've been yearning for all year. National stage, Acuff took over, dropping 36 points, a quiet 36 points, if that's even a thing. But talk to me about your Hogs, Eric.
Yeah, unbelievable game, making it to the Sweet 16 once again, fifth time in 6 years. So, I'll take that any day of the week. But yeah, it was definitely up and down more than I would like it to have been. Their point guard Martin just is shifty as it gets. Dropped 30, fouled out, which kind of like thank God moment for us. But it was crazy because it truly was moments of the game where I was like, dang, like we're not playing that great. But there wasn't a moment where I was like, we might lose, which is a crazy thing to say, just because they just beat Wisconsin in a crazy fashion. But when you have Darius on your team, man, you just think he's going to make the plays. And when he made that, he stepped up, shot that three to go up by 7. It's just like he just
Yeah.
has that dog, man. He is just so freaking good.
Yeah. And it seems the nation is starting to recognize, like, obviously throughout this season it's been Debansa, Peterson, Flemings, Wagler. Very rarely did you hear Darius Acuff thrown in that. Not saying he wasn't, because I firmly he believe. I think everyone now knows he deserved to be in that conversation. But talk to me about how the national recognition of Acuff, like, how was he not mentioned earlier with those players?
Yeah, I think, there's players that come across college that are, they're college based players. Like it may not translate going into the NBA. The thing is, he still has some blemishes on defense. And I think a part of that is he also doesn't want to use all of his energy on defense, which may be a cop out answer or an excuse. But,
Luckily, in
we,
the NBA, they don't play
Yeah, that's
defense.
fine.
So,
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, he's starting to get the recognition he deserves. He's not as tall as some of the point guards maybe in the NBA, but when it comes to just fluid motion, doesn't get riled up with tough defense, makes the right plays, almost has like a speed boost where it seems like he's just gliding down the court and then all of a sudden just steps it into another gear, hitting shots off his off foot, which is he makes it look unbelievably easy when it's not. So, um, it's fun now that he's in that spotlight of almost like a Clayton. What was his name? Walter Clayton. What was his name from last year? Walter
Walter
Clayton.
Clayton for Florida last year.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of gives that vibes of Florida had a really good deep team, but when you have a guy that can just make shots and make plays, anything can happen, especially when that guy's in your backcourt. So have a tough matchup in this next round, but again, it's March Madness, and you're not going to face just easy teams all the way to the championship. So you got to beat good teams.
Yeah. Tanner, obviously, you're kind of on the outside of the rise of Acuff. You obviously knew about him earlier than most, but what were your opinions as kind of an outsider?
Look, I didn't watch a ton. I mean, I did just because it's college basketball, but obviously not as much as Big Ten basketball. I didn't watch too much of the SEC this year. I just kind of looked at the stats and heard what you guys have said. But obviously now I'm watching him, and what's the thing we always talk about? We get to March and we have this conversation of what's better. Do you want seniors and fifth year seniors, or do you just want that raw freshman talent? I'm looking at it right here. 37, 24, 30, 24, and 36. Those are his those are his points in his in 5 postseason games. That's not 5 regular season games. That's 5 postseason games. That is not normal for a freshman.
Yeah.
That is not normal. That is unbelievable. And as all of you have said, he's never once gotten frustrated. He's never once gotten. He's just the same stone cold face the entire time, unflappable. Doesn't matter. They're up 20. They're down 10. It's a tie game with 10 seconds left. He's the same basketball player all the way through, and it is really impressive to watch. And this month is when people make their name, and like now the whole world is getting to see it. And I don't know if there's a bigger riser in college basketball in the past couple of weeks than Darius Acuff.
Yeah, absolutely. He has been absolutely incredible. Eric, the conversation online with the rise of Acuff is the fact he might be the best guard Calipari has ever coached. What are your thoughts on that?
It's tough because you have to separate college and NBA and all the accolades.
For sure.
Obviously, Derrick Rose was phenomenal in the NBA. He took him to a national championship. There was an interview with John Wall bringing up that question, and he brought up a great point of, I probably could have averaged 25, but I had Boogie on my team. So when you have D Boog, he's obviously needs to get his as well. So I've gotten to the point now where I'm just thrilled that he's on our team and I get to live through this and, like, if you will, my prime era of, living in Fayetteville, going to see games and stuff like that. Because the fact that he was the SEC player of the year, freshman player of the year, an AP starting 5, it's just, you don't get this. Like, this is a once in a lifetime type thing. So I'm just here for the ride of it. And like you just said, you're going through stats of just postseason alone. Like, he's averaging 30 and 7 like that. Like, people are talking about it, but you still can't even wrap your head around how insane that is for a freshman. And Cal said the other day, I think there's a level of, there's pressure on freshmen, but also it's like they've never been here before, so they're just kind of winging it. While you have older guys that are seniors realizing, like, this is my last go at it, all that kind of stuff that may have that a little bit more pressure. So it's just been a fun ride, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, with the Cal thing, it's really hard because obviously one of the guys we're talking about is Derrick Rose, obviously phenomenal basketball player. He won an MVP in the NBA. He won an MVP in a season he averaged like 21 points a game.
Yeah.
Third people off the bench averaged 21 points a game in the NBA, right? It's just like the game is completely different.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so hard to compare. But he's unbelievable. He is unbelievable. But also, like we talked about it a little bit before with Rob Martin for High Point. My first thought when the High Point Wisconsin game went final, other than hell yeah, Wisconsin lost, was damn, we got robbed of a Wisconsin Arkansas game. High Point was just good in this game.
Yeah.
It might as well have been Wisconsin because they played with them, up and down the entire game. Also, do want to shout out, shout out Fletcher off the bench.
Yeah, Cameron Fletcher. Yeah,
Cameron Fletcher.
A little revenge game there.
He had a bone to pick with Cal, but look, like High Point, I think was legitimately good. It's just, Arkansas was just better because the best player on the floor and maybe the best player in college basketball is on Arkansas.
Yeah, absolutely. Arkansas moves on to the Sweet 16. Eric, what do your Hogs got to do to compete with Arizona, who has been arguably the best team all year?
Yeah, 2 big things, and it truly comes down to this, and it's rebounding and staying out of foul trouble. We only have, for the first 2 rounds or first 2 games, we had only 6-man rotation. So our 5th-year senior Pringle had a hamstring injury. He could have played if it came down to it, but we were really trying to rest him. So hopefully the 4 or 5 day rest kind of get him back. But look, Arizona can score in any fashion. They don't shoot a lot of threes. We shoot them at a high clip, at a high rate. So, it's just going to come down to rebounding the basketball, staying out of foul trouble. And I don't think we have to play like anywhere close to our best game possible. We just may need them to have a little bit of an off night and play our game because they're going to try and slow us down. But, I think we're like sixth in the country in fast break points. So we're going to try and speed them up. So, look, they're an incredible team. They've beat incredible teams the whole year, but Wisconsin was really good this year as well, and they lost the High Point. So it's March, and you're gonna have to play good teams to advance. So
Yeah,
Ask
absolutely.
Florida.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be one of the best matchups, Sweet 16. But any last thoughts on your Hogs so far in this postseason, Eric?
I'd love to not have an 8:45 Central Time tip off just once,
Yeah,
but I'm still happy. I'm still happy to be here.
yeah, yeah.
It ain't
We can
happening, so
relate.
quit asking.
But Eric, thank you so much for joining us, talking some Hogs hoops. We appreciate it, and hopefully we'll be talking to you after Hogs win against
Absolutely.
Arizona.
Absolutely. I'll be a happy man come Friday if that's the case.
Absolutely. I mean, how electric is it having Eric on after a big win for Arkansas heading to Sweet 16? But we'll move on to yesterday, Sunday, as we kicked off with a really good game, Tanner. Purdue versus Miami. Purdue wins this one by 10, 79 to 60.
Yeah. This game was great. The Miami led by 2 at half. I mean, it was a one possession game with under 2 minutes left. Like this was a great game. Obviously, Purdue pulls away in the end. But Purdue, man, they preseason number 1, they have really righted the ship down the stretch. And I mean, they're obviously they're looking great. And with this win, they play an 11 seed for a chance to go to the Elite Eight. You have to feel good if you're Purdue, and just like it's the only way it seemed like the trio of Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and Trey Kaufman-Renn. The only way their careers were going to end at Purdue was going to be with a little bit of a run. And certainly that starts with the Sweet 16, and obviously them three were incredible. We all know Braden Smith. I mean, 12 points, 8 assists. Lawyer and Kaufman-Renn combined for 43. So that's 55 between the three of them. Purdue scored 79. Obviously, those three are the straw that stirs the drink for Purdue. And they were great in this game. And I mean, Purdue's back in the Sweet 16, which they're such a weird case because they always have a high seed. So it's literally they're either in the Sweet 16 or they lost a hilarious upset game that we can all make fun of them.
Yeah, exactly. That is a Purdue way. But moving on, in a shocking but not shocking at the same time, Iowa State absolutely destroys Kentucky without Joshua Jefferson. Taman Lipsey took over for the Cyclones and never looked back. And what I don't know what's good with this Kentucky team because I do think they are one of the most talented teams. But my God, like once Iowa State took that 10 to 15 point lead, it's like, all right, this is over. Like you didn't see the fight you see in a lot of college basketball teams. And is that just the personnel you have if you're Mark Pope, or is that a Mark Pope problem? I don't know what to take away from this game when it comes to Kentucky.
I have a hard time saying that it's a talent problem because they had a $20 million.
Yeah, exactly. I
Now,
think it was for the NIL or whatever it was. They're 20 mil. Iowa State.
yeah,
Insane.
exactly, dude. And like the most damning thing you can possibly be said that could possibly be said about your team as a coach, as a fan, as a player, as whatever, is what Heisey said after this game, where part of the game plan for Iowa State was they knew that if they went on a little run, Kentucky was just going to kind of pack it in.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about a Mark Pope led Kentucky. It very well could be Mark Pope. He did a good job at BYU. So I don't think he's just an outright bad coach.
Agreed.
I don't know if it's you need a certain type of person to lead a program like Kentucky, because there's going to be players with, let's say a player who goes on to play for Kentucky, and the average player that goes and plays for Kentucky and the average player that goes and plays for like Iowa State, just because they've matched up with each other, they probably have different expectations of their college career. And I don't know if he's just not fit to lead that.
Yeah.
But I think one thing is damn clear, that I don't think Mark Pope is the guy to lead Kentucky.
Yeah.
Which, if you're a Kentucky fan, obviously that sucks because you don't have your guy. But at the same time, that's like a Kentucky legend. That relationship now may have gone a little sour. But I don't want to call for another man's job, especially for a team I don't root for.
Mm-hmm.
But from the outside looking in, they don't look right. They don't look like Kentucky. And my take here is that Kentucky will never be Kentucky again until they return to the checkerboard on the side of the jersey.
Yes. Biggest downgrade ever.
Yes. The checkerboard on the side of the jersey was, you just knew it was Kentucky. Carolina's got like the Argyle down the side.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky had the checker.
Yeah.
Those brands are like, you see that and immediately know who it is. The blue checker. I think it was their end zone in football.
It was.
You got to go back.
You have to. Absolutely. But yeah, this obviously for Iowa State losing a second team, I think he was second team All-American. I don't know about you, Taryn, but I thought, okay, Kentucky has all their guys. There was a chance.
I thought there was a path.
And then,
but it's still, oddly enough, and this I think is a testament to TJ Otzelberger, but like my takeaway from this game is 100% Kentucky, because I knew that Iowa State was gonna, I don't even know what the right word is, but they were just gonna dig their heels in the ground. I knew they were going to give an all-time defensive effort, because that's who they are. That's who Otzelberger is, and they know we're missing one of our best players. We need to, and I knew that was going to happen. I just thought Kentucky would maybe eat that punch and then throw one back.
Yeah,
and they ate that punch, and then they just ran to their corner, called in.
They threw in the towel. Yeah, absolutely. Impressive win by Iowa State, nonetheless. But this next game, looks awesome. 67-65. St. John's takes care of Kansas, ending the collegiate career of Darren Peterson as we know it, the controversial season. But my God, for about 38 minutes of this game, it was some of the worst basketball I've ever seen.
Yeah, there was a stretch. I want to say it maybe was from like the 16-minute mark to like the 4-minute mark in the first half, was just the ugliest basketball you will ever see. They got out. It wasn't even like an Iowa Clemson situation where it was just so slow. They dragged them into no, they were playing with pace. They were just missing shots, missing layups, dunks, turning the ball over, missing dunks. It was literally a pickup game.
Yeah.
Nothing was set up. Nothing was in a structure. And it was all just up and down the floor, fast break type of shots that all missed. Like it was really interesting to watch. But obviously in the end, the hero for St. John's, what's his first name? Dylan Darling. Dylan Darling calls his own number after not scoring
0 for 4.
Calls his
own number.
He backed it up.
Yeah. absolutely insane. If you're Patino, I don't know why in the hell you're like, yep, let's do it. I mean, but maybe that's kudos to his coaching because everyone was expecting it to be probably a Hopkins pick and roll
Yeah.
with a
Hopkins and
Ejiofor.
Ejiofor. Yep.
I mean,
Something like that. But yeah, they go to the unlikely hero. And what's one thing I always wondered is like, and they talk that I've seen this talked about elsewhere, but it's also like if you're Zuby Ejiofor and the guy's 0 for 4 is like, coach, like, give me this, I'll make it.
yeah,
And is Ejiofor like, wait, that's all it took? I'll make it.
yeah,
Like, I'm the best player on the team.
yeah,
Bryce Hopkins is like, I'm the best guard on the team.
yeah.
Like the ball should be in my hand. I'm the big transfer of the year. But obviously it all works out in the end. As far as buzzer beaters go, maybe not the most exciting, but it's kind of nice to see when it comes down to it, a team designs something and a player just like gets a good shot and doesn't just dribble the ball in a circle and throw up a three.
And just a huge lack of execution on the defensive. Like it wasn't
Yeah, it's a straight line drive.
anything complicated.
He
just took it right at him.
It wasn't a Patino set. It wasn't it wasn't massive. It was literally a straight line drive.
And that was arguably Kansas's best defender in Jackson. We've seen him come in late game situations and clamp somebody up, but not on Sunday.
Not Dylan Darling.
Not Dylan Darling. But I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this season as a whole for Darren Pearson. I mean, I've been one of his biggest haters. And the reasoning for that is because every time he stepped on the floor, he was the best player. No matter who he was going up against, he would take if he had the mindset of I'm gonna go kill, he's giving you 20, 25, 30. And we just unfortunately there has been a lot of health issues that have come out. And that just sucks because he could have been one of like the greatest Jayhawks of all time. Like in that conversation, obviously his legacy on Kansas is tarnished by everything surrounding that. The highlights of him asking for subs when he hits a three. But yeah, that's just my kind of thoughts on his legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The problem with college basketball, and especially with these talented freshmen, is so much of their college legacy is tied up in what they do in the NBA.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what the difference is in terms of accomplishments, in terms of what they brought for their team between Darren Peterson and like Marvin Bagley is?
Yeah. Not much.
And the way I look at this, because I don't really care about the NBA, we've talked about it, not all that much, at least in terms of legacy talk. Obviously, I watch the playoffs and whatever, but like,
yeah,
he's just another uber talented freshman who the team underperformed when he was there, had a general disinterest of what's the word I'm looking for? It looked like he had a general disinterest in terms of team buy-in, and whether or not that's true, I don't know. I can just only speak to what I see and what I feel, and his legacy to me is like nothing. Like he's going to be a high draft pick, and who knows, maybe he becomes the next LeBron James. He's playing the NBA for 20 years, and we're like, remember him in college? He was so good. Whatever. Sure, maybe we do that, but like right now, he's no different than Marvin Bagley.
Yeah,
he's a super talented freshman. He played on a blue blood. They had all the expectations in the world. They accomplished nothing, and he's going to be a high draft pick.
Yeah. Honestly, but another thing in regards to Kansas, Bill Self made a interesting post game comment. Have you seen this?
I have not.
He said someone asked him about whether he'll return. Obviously, had some health scares here and there this season. He said, I'll get back and get with family and visit and see what's going on. So I love what I do. I need to be able to do it when I'm feeling good and healthy to do it fairly well. I'll get back home and it will all be discussed. And that leads to a conversation that there's a chance we have three bona fide blue blood basketball programs with potential job openings this offseason.
Juicy.
Juicy, juicy, juicy.
Juicy. Now I don't love that one of the more talked about young coaches in college basketball is the Iowa's coach.
Correct.
Don't love that. But it is unprecedented for sure. There's going to be it will be interesting, and it'll be interesting to see if who makes the first move, if any moves are made, and if that starts the domino.
To say the least. But moving on, we got Tennessee took care of Virginia 79-72. I really didn't have a whole lot for this game, other than Gillespie taking over for the Volunteers. That's about all I got.
Yeah, I tell you, man, Tennessee. I don't know if I heard a single word about Tennessee throughout the season from national college basketball. In the SEC, it was what's wrong with Florida? Oh my gosh, Florida's back. The ACUF in Arkansas stuff, and then that's like it out of the SEC.
Yeah,
I didn't hear much of anything from this Tennessee team, and they're back in the Sweet 16. Couple years in a row now for Tennessee. Obviously, the Rick Barnes thing, we all know we're going to have those conversations. Just, if he can't get there with expectations, maybe taking away the expectations can unlock something. But because they're playing great, and like it's. I just I don't really know what to say because this Tennessee team has completely blindsided me and a lot of just because if Tennessee was a Sweet 16 caliber team, you would have heard it. You would have heard it in the coverage of the season, and that just didn't.
Yeah, kind of the only thing I heard about was Nate Ament being a top lottery pick. That's all I heard. Maybe you're right though, with the lack of expectations, they just kind of went out and hooped, and it seems to be working. But that leads to the big one, the biggest upset of the tournament, brought to you by yours truly, the Iowa Hawkeyes take down number 1 seed Florida 73-72. There were a lot of doubters, maybe including myself.
I was going to say,
we're
someone who thought we were going to win this game, they were blindly optimistic.
But our Hawkeyes got it done 73-72. Tanner, talk to me about this.
I don't even know what to say. This is, it's upsetting the defending champs, a number 1 team, going to the Sweet 16 on it wasn't a buzzer beater, but a game-winning shot with under 5 seconds left. This doesn't happen to Iowa basketball. It just doesn't. And the fact that it did is unbelievable. And when that game went final, it was just it was a complete blackout, just reacting on pure emotion, pure excitement. I don't know what I can't even describe what it means to me personally, what it means to the program. Because it's just this, even when the teams had promise, it was always something. It was too slow. It didn't make enough shots. It was a cold night, not enough defense. And you make a coaching change for this reason. You do it for this reason. to bring in some new blood and create a new identity, a new story, a new just attitude within your program, and this is exactly why you do it. This is exactly why you do it. Well, that's why Indiana did it, and that's why you just do this and pray that your program is flipped, and Iowa has, and this it's just unbelievable to think about. Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about a complete 180 from last year to this year. We had, of course, Fran McCaffrey, known for getting up and down the court, not much defense. Ben McCollum comes into this program, brings along his guys from Drake, exceeded regular season expectations. The fact we made tournament the Hawkeye faithful was ecstatic. It's something we haven't been able to witness in a couple years under Fran. We just wanted a one win, and anything else is incredible. To think this group of McCollum's guys from Drake competing in the Big Ten and playing in a matchup that they were outmatched height, maybe even talent. It was just incredible. And it really comes down to one guy, and that's head coach Ben McCollum. Ben McCollum coached the perfect game. Absolutely ran circles around Todd Golden, obviously. Had that scuffle in the early part of the game. Iowa was not the more talented team, but on this night they were. They played with so much more heart than the Gators. Obviously the story around Fulgaris, obviously hitting the big shot, just absolutely incredible. But one guy I think that's going to kind of get lost in all this is Tavion Banks. Without Tavion Banks, we don't win this game. Was absolutely incredible. 20 points, 6 rebounds. Basically eliminated the threat of their bigs, getting them into foul trouble rather early. Tavion Banks and Manyao, definitely the guys who deserve just as much love.
Sam, I think I can go through and look at every single player that played in this game. Without them, we do not win this game.
Yeah.
That's one of these wins. And it goes as far as putting in a true freshman center who largely didn't play well, was clearly outmatched, but he gave us looking at he gave us minutes. He gave us 4 minutes.
Yeah.
He gave us 4 minutes where we could have our bigs who were in foul trouble could sit on the bench.
Yeah.
And like they weren't great minutes. He didn't light the game on fire, but they weren't catastrophic minutes.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was able to do that, if he wasn't, Fulgaris has to play. He probably picks up his 5th. He's out of the game. Can't hit a game-winning shot.
Yeah.
Like, everything matters in a win like this, and that's just the culture. That's the way Ben McCollum has built this program. You mentioned Tavion Banks was, he's our leading scorer. He was far and away the best player. He was a little bit better in the first half, but like still in the second half, like the keys to the game, we didn't even shoot well. That was the thing. We have to make our shots. We didn't really even do that. We didn't really make free throws. The one thing, the biggest thing I think that played into this was the team effort on the glass, because that's where I thought this, Florida was going to be able to get the ball inside and get their, post up, traditional half court post up buckets. That's fine. Where I thought was going to be a major issue was when we do force them to take long shots, that a lot of them were going to end up in offensive rebounds. And to leave this game tied in rebounds, 27 apiece, is obviously it's the reason they won. Any of those go get second chance opportunities for Florida, and the game's over.
Yeah.
So every single person that played in this game played their role, and we needed it. We needed every single second from every single play.
Yeah. I mean, when your star player, Bennett Sturts, is having an off night, you tend to be like, oh shit, this could be a problem. And while there were moments of that, no doubt, this team was like, all right, well, we'll take it over. We got this. And that comes down to coaching. Ben McCollum, unreal, proven winner. And I'm just happy he's rocking the black and gold.
No doubt about it. And going to Bennett Sturts, because yeah, the shooting was bad. He did not play well. But how many times did we see when past Iowa teams were taking on physical and athletic teams? What comes to mind is a game against Iowa State in Hilton, not a couple of years ago. It was the game that I went to, and obviously you were there. But where off the tip, Lipsy gets into our point guards. I think it was Josh Dix at the time, a young Josh Dix, gets into his face, gets into his space a little bit, presses him full court, and he just turtles. And Sturts, having a point guard that can handle that pressure and calm everyone down, is so massively important. So like that's what I'm saying. Even Sturts,
that veteran presence, man.
Like even him, he did not shoot well. He did not play well. He did have a couple big buckets, but like at the end of the day, like without Bennett Sturts, obviously, if that had to fall on Cale Combs, if that had to fall on who else to bring up the ball, we're likely having a different conversation. Just everyone did what we needed them to, and that's why we're here.
Yeah. Unreal.
I can't believe it. It's
party like it's 1999, baby.
It's the biggest win. It's certainly the biggest Iowa win in any sport. It's the one I reacted the most emotionally to. It's looking at pro sports. I think the only one that would enter the realm would be maybe the Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah,
but like, that that didn't result in anything tangible. This results in a sweet, like nothing can take away. I was a Sweet 16 team. It's a tangible thing we accomplished. And I couldn't be. I'm so over the moon that this is where we are in year one. And changing.
I mean,
program, changing your perception.
This changes everything. And want to shout out Beth Goats Gets, however you say her name. I probably should know that by now. But the ball she had,
it's officially Beth Goats because she's a goat. I mean.
What a hire, man.
We've said it a few times, but like you're thrust into an athletic director position of a Big Ten school. Within your first couple of years, you have to make an incredibly difficult decision on an offensive coordinator who happens to be your coach's son, head coach's son. That's the longest tenured head coach in college football, by the way. You have a long tenured basketball coach that you have to make an incredibly difficult decision on. You have a longtime women's coach who retires. And she has done everything right. She has done everything right, and we are in this spot because of her ability to lead the athletics, and she is incredible. I can't say enough good things about her. I can't say enough good things about Ben McCollum, and someone that I cannot say enough bad things about in their performance was Todd Golden Sam.
Yeah.
Obviously, we talked a little bit about it before. He got out coached, and it is worth mentioning why he decided to press. Because he said that his plan was to foul someone who's not Bennett Sturts.
Insane.
Have them shoot 2 high pressure free throws, and then worse comes to worse, you have the ball in a tie game. What say you, Sam, about that coaching philosophy?
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. He's just making up an excuse for what happened. That was not the plan. And if it was, as one of the worst plans of all time.
Yeah. That's crazy. Fouling up 2 is crazy. It seems like, because why would you not just play no 3 defense? And it's the same thing. Worst comes to worst.
Yeah.
Overtime. But where they went wrong, I can't fathom, even if you did want it to foul, why on earth are you picking up full court instead of just like picking up at half court? Because they're not
Yeah.
shooting a half court shot, believe it or not. They will be
Yeah.
dribbling the ball at half court, not picking up at half court. Then, even if you do decide you want to pick them up full court, why the hell are you denying and face guarding? And then once they set a screen, why the hell are you going underneath a screen, allowing for the first off, Iowa's point guard, their floor general, clearly their best player. Not only does he get the ball, he gets the ball with full momentum going forward. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And that's why I say it is bullshit.
Yeah. And what was also BS, and if you're a Florida fan, one of the other, probably your number one guy to blame, I think, because we're talking about Golden here. I still don't think he's the number one guy to blame for Florida.
No, I don't either.
You know who I'm going with?
Yeah.
Ruben Chinyelu was nowhere to be found this game. 0 points, 1 rebound. The only stats he recorded, other than fouls, because he had 4 of those fouls. I don't think he fouled out, right? He only had 4.
Yeah, he had 4.
He had 4 fouls, only played 18 minutes.
Yeah.
That's just it was probably one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a key player on a defending champion 1 seed team. I mean, he was, and not to mention he was running over players in the back, not getting a call, of course, and elbowing people and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, he was awful.
Yeah. There's no denying that. And when, again, I think that is another thing about McCollum. One of his key players isn't playing his best game. He adjusted perfectly. And I'm not saying Shinny Lou is a go-to guy on offense, but he's still a key aspect of that offense.
Yeah, it's part of what makes Florida's biggest advantage in this game. Ruben Chinyelu is a massive part of that advantage.
Yeah.
And without him on the floor, I mean, he's their best rebounder off the floor.
Yep.
Condon and Howe, like, they played well. They combined for 40. Another part of that advantage, but like, you have a 3-headed size monster over us, and one of them, who was on the team last year, who was your best rebounder, was just nowhere to be found all game long.
Yeah,
he was off. He was absolutely off.
Absolutely. Just school like, I don't know how to even describe this. Absolutely incredible win by the Hawks.
Yep.
And boy, is it sweet.
It is. It's we kind of think what you were going for. It's program defining. It's validation to internally to his players that followed him here. Bennett Sturts probably could have made nearly double the amount of money he got if he went to somewhere else. But he believed in McCollum, and he believed in what was building here. It's validation to the fans who have showed up this year for a program that it was really in the dumps. It's validation. It's exterior validation. It's validation to others that this program's headed in the right direction. Ben McCollum is our guy. And we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm over the moon. Just there's no bigger win. They don't make wins better than that. They don't. Getting to the Sweet 16, taking down a 1 seed, the way it happened, the shot, all that. They don't make wins bigger than that. And it was something. It's for sure that Fulgaris shot, that picture of him holding the follow through, all the fans going crazy. That will be forever ingrained in my brain.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I don't know. We could easily end the episode there, because Arizona took care of Utah State. Utah State ran out of gas.
Yeah, looks like all 9 seeds aren't created equal.
UConn. UCLA ran out of gas, 73-57, and Alabama absolutely
obliterated
destroyed Texas Tech. But
obliterated.
any
Obliterated.
last thoughts, man?
It's hard to put into words. It means everything. It means everything to us. It means everything to me. It means everything to basketball fans who are fans of the University of Iowa, because it was looking bleak. And with the rise of Caitlin Clark in the women's program and the way football is treated at Iowa, obviously rightfully so, and all this other stuff, it seemed like basketball was falling behind in buy-in and fan buy-in and university support and NIL support. And to have this happen, it just, every single fan out there, every single basketball fan of the University of Iowa deserved it so much. And it was just so sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. But that is gonna wrap up for episode. Well, I take that back. We got some games to look forward to before wrapping up this episode. Let me get that up real quick. Thursday, we got Texas Purdue, the rivalry of Iowa Nebraska with a trip to the Elite Eight on the line. Arkansas taking on Arizona, and we end the night with Illinois Houston. Following day, Friday, St. John's Duke, Alabama Michigan, Michigan State UConn versus Hurley, and then Tennessee and Iowa State wrapping up the night. This tournament's unreal. For those saying this isn't the March Madness, I know this has been one of the best lately. I know there's been some bad games, but the games.
Go to the greatest you will find, and there are bad games.
But now that's gonna wrap up episode.
Quick, actually, to pause you again.
Okay.
Worth mentioning, 16 teams in 16, obviously. 6 Big Ten. Worth mentioning for sure. But now we're getting wrap up. Episode 209 as the Hawks and Hogs are dancing. Make sure to follow the pod on X, Instagram, TikTok, crunchtime_pod. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell on YouTube, Crunchtime with the N3260 duo. We will be breaking down games probably Saturday. We'll figure it out. We'll let y'all know. Probably gonna be another Monday night episode, so we get the Sweet 16 matchups in the Elite Eight. Yep. We might go live Saturday morning, so stay tuned. Make sure you are following us on Twitter or X, because that's where we'll release more information. But the clock has run out on this one, and baby, it's time to dance. It's sweet, boy, is it sweet.